Hey everyone, this is Chris Garin. It's another brand disaster episode, and it's always fun reading about these stories, especially with this one. Because in this episode, we're going to talk about Fiat. If you're unfamiliar, Fiat is one of the biggest car makers in the world, and it was founded in 1899. Yeah, 1899. Can you imagine? Philippine independence was declared in 1898. So while we're all the way here in the Philippines fighting for freedom from Spain, all the way in Europe, Italians are like, you know what? Let's start a car company. And as of 2020, Fiat is 121 years old. But anyway, our focus is in 1992, since Fiat was about to launch their new model, the Fiat Cinquecento. This was in the early 1990s, and one of the main channels of marketing during that time was through direct mail. It's just that direct mail is such a boring way to do marketing. And apparently that's why people called it junk mail, because normally people would just send it straight into the trash. So then Fiat decides, guys, let's do something different. Let's do something that the world will remember. And I have to say, mission accomplished. And so here's what they did. So they come up with this plan. And the plan was to mail anonymous love letters to independent, modern working women in Spain. So they were going to write these love letters posing as a secret admirer of some sort with a sweet romantic message. And this would be for the first batch. This would be followed by a second wave of letters, which would be sent 6 days after the first batch. And in this batch, they would reveal that the letters were from the author named the Fiat Cinquecento. And it would have some message that would invite them to go on a test drive or something. Their main idea was for women to fall in love with the new Fiat Cinquecento. So just knowing about this, it's not a bad idea. But of course, ideas are easy. It's the execution that counts. So now Fiat goes to work, and they type out these love letters, and they even go as far as to type them all on pink paper, because of course it's romantic, so you have to use the colors of love. And there were a lot of these letters, 50,000 letters to be exact. And everyone in the Fiat team must have been really excited before they sent out these letters. And I would know because I work in advertising, and when we have a big idea, when we're about to launch something, you go all like, oh man, people are so gonna love this. And so they send this first batch, and they wait a while, and then they finally get a reaction from the community. Now, the Fiat team soon discovers that instead of women feeling good about themselves because they have a secret admirer, women were actually freaking out because they thought that they had a creepy-ass stalker that's out to get them. And you know how Fiat found out about whether or not the campaign worked? Well, the police informed them, because apparently local police were getting so many calls from women because they were reporting about how they were fearing for their lives because someone knows where they live and knows their exact name. Because apparently the women were addressed personally in the letters. And of course, since it's a direct mail campaign, the letters were mailed to their homes. So I completely understand how frightening that would have felt, knowing that a stalker knows your name and your exact address. Now about the letters. You would think that these love letters would have cute anecdotes or quotable sayings or some kind of message that's cheesy, romantic, but funny and clever, right? But then we soon discover that the letters, they had messages, and it said stuff like, I only have to be with you for a few minutes, and even if it doesn't work between us, I promise you won't forget our experience together. Just, why? like seriously? I get what they were going for, since the goal was to invite women for a test drive, but this one just has stalker vibes written all over it. And while they were making these letters, did not a single soul voice out the possibility that women might interpret this differently? Oh, and the other letters, they were saying stuff like, we met again on the street yesterday, and I noticed how you glanced interestedly in my direction. I love this. I mean, just imagine, the letters had no hints or mentions of anything related to Fiat. So these women were probably going crazy trying to recall who they ran into on the street the day before. And to top it off, there were letters inviting women to go on, quote-unquote, a little adventure. And so what happened was women were freaking out and they were so creeped out, and there were reports of that women were locking themselves in their apartments. I mean, congrats to Fiat. They found a way to get people to stay at home way before the pandemic. So now women, they wouldn't leave their homes unless a guy friend or family member would accompany them out of fear that some psycho was out to get them. And funny cause there were also reports that the letters even triggered a lot of fights from couples because husbands were thinking that their wives were cheating on them. Okay, so this whole campaign, it ended when consumer protection groups along with the Minister of Social Affairs of Spain called out Fiat in protest for this campaign. And that's how it ended. So I just have to say, thank you for f***ing up, Fiat. Because I really enjoyed this story. And hey, although it was a disaster in the beginning, it's been 28 years since it happened, and Fiat is still getting brand awareness from that story. I mean, just the fact that we're still talking about them, right? So, thanks for that, Fiat. So yeah guys, that's our Fiat Love Letters brand disaster story. If you love brand disaster episodes, please subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on any podcast app. And for more updates, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This episode was made by Partisan. For more details, visit partisanbrands.com. This is Chris Garin. I'll catch you again next time for another episode of Brand Origins.